Alrighty, I'm here today with Kenneth, one of our agents who serves the veteran niche down in Texas. He's actually a veteran himself. Kenneth, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. So Kenneth, I know we've been working together for honestly not too long. It's only been about 2 months. And we were just having a discussion prior to this regarding some of the leads that we brought in, a couple of the things that we've done, right? So
Right.
before we jump into all of that, I do just want to ask a couple of things in terms of real estate itself. Like in terms of real estate, how long have you been in real estate? What were you doing before? Because I do know that this is a slightly newer venture for you, right?
Was 2 year, 22 years Army, 2 years uh out. I was in law enforcement, and after law enforcement, 2 years in the real estate business.
So 2 years so far in real estate, correct?
Correct.
Got it. And then I think this is kind of, you've already answered this, but what made you really decide to focus on veterans specifically? Obviously, it's helping them leverage their benefits, right? It's a great thing to do because a lot of them don't know how to use it. So that's one thing, but just dive a little bit deeper on what kind of made you want to focus on veterans specifically, besides being a veteran yourself.
Okay. Well, what made me focus on the real estate was the fact that as a home buyer myself, and also being a veteran, my spouse is a veteran as well, and I know the transitions and the hardships that sometimes veteran have from the permanent duty changes, the overseas assignments, to trying to find a home, even to retiring, transition from being a soldier, purchasing a home for your family, and even retirement. And so sometimes things get lost when you're trying to find a property and you're trying to find your forever home. There's a lot of working pieces that people don't understand, and there are questions that veterans have, and sometimes they get the wrong information, and that makes your home buying process even more difficult.
Yeah. And that's been our entire angle, right? Because what you just told me now is what you told us 2 months ago. Hey, here's the gap that I'm seeing. Here's how I want to help veterans. And that's really what we've put in front of veterans now. And that's why they're coming to you to seek this help, right? It's not just another sale, right? It's more personal, right? Obviously they deserve these benefits. But for you, it's personal because you've done it before, right? And you know how overwhelming it can get. So that's our leading offer, right? You're a veteran yourself. Here's how to leverage your VA benefits the right way. Now, before we started working together, right? What did like a typical week look like for you in terms of new business coming in? What was your main way of getting business and all of that stuff?
Prior to the lead system agent launch, my leads were coming from my sphere, people that I knew, or even referrals from, you know, they, I didn't really, I wasn't buying leads, but my team lead, she had purchased Zillow, Realtor.com. And so even with the system that I'm using now, she's like, man, you're getting leads. Like I was spending, a lot of money, and it's like the leads that you're getting, they're more productive than, what I was paying for. And so I'm having a regular conversation every week with at least two leads, whether they cultivate what's going to be short term, long term. I'm at least having a conversation. And before that, there was crickets. I wasn't getting, unless I accidentally run across somebody or somebody reached out to me or referred me. No, there was no traction.
Yeah. And honestly, like just kicking it back. So one big thing, and this goes for like any agent who's trying to serve a specific niche, right? It's actually funny enough, we're actually rebranding. We're in the midst of a rebrand right now to Scale My Niche as the company name. Because as you mentioned, we are Agent Launch Hub right now. But a lot of people are getting us confused for the company called Agent Launch, which is an entirely different company. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I've seen you've had some great conversations coming in. It's doing well. And the big thing that I always like to tell agents is Zillow is great. They get you stuck in a cycle though, right? A cycle of spend more, 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 right? And you really can't leave it because it's the only source of your business. And when people search on Zillow, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna be working with the person you want to work with because they're just looking at homes at the end of the day, right? They're not searching up agents who can help veterans on Zillow and stuff like that. That's why your offer is leading the market at the moment, right? With these people that are actually looking at it. Like before, since it is like still fresh, just 2 months, right? Before, how hard was it to grow your pipeline on your own without any systems in place?
It was very difficult because even though with the CRM I had, the CRM that you guys had put in place is a whole lot easier. I can balance it off my former CRM, but the one that you guys have is a whole lot more simpler. Because now I'm seeing calls in real time. I'm seeing scheduled phone calls in real time. I'm seeing the message, and some of the responses in real time. Whereas before, with the CRM I had, I wasn't seeing that in real time. I would get an email later on, but I wasn't able or I wasn't in a position to react. Whereas when I go on your guys' site, I see what time they call. I can also see what they want to talk about, or even if they just uh, clicked on it by accident. Some even click. Well, if they clicked on it, they'll say, "Hey, just clicking on it, just by accident," and that's fine with me because I'll reach out to them. And evidently, you clicked on it for a reason. I can still have dialogue. And so it's nothing. It's not like it's a lose lose. I'll get something out of it by making contact with it.
Yeah. And I do remember the start, obviously with anything that you're jumping into online. So before working with us here at Scale My Niche, what was kind of going through your mind before signing? Because I know this was like your first big, like I'm gonna invest into myself, I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna build my brand here. Right? What was going through your head? Obviously there was some skepticism, right? So what was like the thought process for you?
The thought process for me was dollars and cents because I was looking at my return on investment, and based on the price point that you quoted me and the different and my commission, my 3%, I was wondering, okay, if I get two or three closings, okay, return on investment is it's paid for, the platform paid for itself. The commission paid for itself. So is it realistic? Yes. Did I see was I skeptical at first? Of course.
Yeah.
But based on the support that you guys have within the platform, uh, it's definitely been worthwhile. It's definitely worthwhile for me and my business. And I mentioned it to some other agents. They may not be in a position to where uh, they see the value, but I see it because if I go the other route, if I go to Zillow route, if I go to Realtor.com, I'm more stable and I'm more consistently getting leads through this platform than I would be through Zillow.
Yeah. Excellent. No, I appreciate the kind words there. And obviously, we're here to work with you long term, ramp it up. Now, one big thing, obviously, what everyone wants to hear, what I'm excited about as well. Let's just walk through. We don't have to name names here, but like just the database right now, who we're looking to close. I think you just went and took someone to a build yesterday, right? What's the pipeline looking like right now in terms of expected deals to close?
Right now, I have two, three, probably my expectations at least four deals to close. I got a buyer, a person who not only they're buying, they're listing their home with me, and she's having a new build. And then there's another buyer that I have agreement with is wants to buy her, so we're taking them out to look at properties. And a potential another client who's transitioned out of the military, I've connected them with a lender, and today, they're working with the lender to find out what their price point is, and see that, and that's key. Having a network with, I can, even if whether they uh, use me because they really don't know what's required when they're looking using the benefits. You need to having a network, having my lender network. That's what's get them started because now they know. what the credit look like, what the finances look like, the price point, what they can afford. You don't you don't know that when you okay, yes, you have VA benefits, but you don't know how to utilize those benefits correctly. You don't know where to go, you don't know where to start. And that's what, you run into with a lot of people. So I got some of the questions I get are the same, what services do you provide? If I had a transaction for every time I got one of those questions, I'll I'll probably be able to buy your site. But but I don't have a problem with sharing my information, being open and being transparent. And to me, that works good for me and it works good for them because they do reach back out.
Love it. Yeah. Now, from what we calculated last, I think we're looking at just from the deals that are closed, you're almost hitting the point where you're bringing in a 21x return on your ad spend, right? Which is phenomenal. And it speaks to a couple of things. One, the leads that are coming in, obviously. But two, it speaks to you actually knowing your market and knowing how to work with these veterans that are coming in, right? You're genuinely helping them out because this isn't the same help they would get elsewhere, right? And that's why you have a 21x return on your ad spend at the moment. And then on top of that, one huge stat that we were looking at with you was you have a 45% lead to appointment booking ratio. So for every 10 leads that come in, four and a half of them are booking in a consultation with you, which is phenomenal, right? Again, it goes towards your offer. Your offer is doing very well. People want to speak with you. They like what they see, right? And then when they speak with you, they're converting, right? You're doing very, very well with that. So overall, again, it's just about doubling down, continuing to ramp up from here, and just making you the known presence to help veterans, right? It's a good cause on both ends. It's a win-win all around, right? We have a couple of those buy and sell deals, right? We're gonna run some listing ads for your listing that's coming up with that client that we brought in. So maybe you pick up a buyer from that too. So a lot of different angles and approaches that we can really go ahead and take. And I think my last question is just you to yourself 3 months ago, like kind of what would you want to tell them? Or in another way, like what would you tell another agent who is veteran focused, who's on the fence about doing something like this? What would you tell them?
From my standpoint, uh, you have to value, if you're going to value your return on investment, you're going to get it. You're going to get your return on investment based on the quality of leads that's come to the page, and based on the energy and the workmanship that you guys put in this platform. You're not like left out there. Okay, here's the number. You know, just call them. No, you guys are. By the time I get the calls and the leads, they've already been touched. And so I'm only just nurturing them and I'm putting a face to that call and going from there. And which is for me and based, I guess, to them as well, that's very meaningful because that's they're receptive. By the time I talk to them, they're receptive to uh, address whatever concerns or whatever question they have as far as in the real estate, looking for real estate.
Yeah, no, I love it. Kenneth, you've done an excellent job. I love the way you take the meetings. I love the way you're on top of your database, right? One of my favorite types of agents to work with are the ones that are willing to get out there and, hey, okay, I have a meeting. Even if that person doesn't show up right away to the meeting, what's going to happen, right? Kenneth is going to message them. Kenneth is going to make sure we get in contact because you can help them out, right? And that's something that I've seen you do extremely well, which again is a testament to your success thus far. So, 2 months in, right? We have a long-term partnership to go, so I'm looking forward to ramping that up with you. Kenneth, it was a pleasure having you on the call today and looking forward to scaling things up.
Thank you, and I hopefully, well, I just by these couple of months, I've got my return on my investment already. So
Yeah.
was I
And
skeptical?
and
Yes,
for what we can scale in the future, right? You've
yes,
got we built the foundation, now it's time to oil the machine further.
yes. It's going to be very beneficial, probably beyond my imagination. So it's
Love
a
it.
great program, great platform.
Awesome. Thank you, Kenneth.